Okay, this last slide is entitled End of the Game. And it reads, how are you doing so far in terms of your income statement or your net income, your balance sheet, which is your assets minus your liabilities, and your net worth, which are your assets minus your liabilities. Bullet point number 2, or the right side of the slide. How do you think that you will do 10 years from now or 40 years from now? Please explain your reasoning. So, we've gone through all these exercises. We work the numbers, okay? We know what the numbers are. We know the costs. We know the income possibilities. We know the investment options. We're doing some projections, right, into the future. How do you think you'll do 10 or 40 years from now, right? And try to be realistic. Like, don't give me pie in the sky type stuff, right? Like, oh yeah, 4 years from now I'm gonna be richer than Elon Musk. Well, what? How do you support that argument, right? What are your supporting arguments, right? We know that the average American has a net worth of $100,000, right? But the average American is 30 something, okay? So people, meaning Americans in their 30 somethings, 30 to 40, have a net worth of about 100,000. Okay, that's the average. Okay, so if you tell me you're going to have millions by the time you're in your 30 something, well, based on what? Based on what? Because that's not what's going on in this country. Okay, and we know that about 10% of Americans have a net worth of $1 million or more, right? And about 5% of Americans have a net worth of 2 million more, and about 1% of Americans have a net worth of 10 million more. Okay, so if you tell me that you're going to be in the top 1% and you're going to have a net worth of 10 million or more, you need to tell me why. Like, what's your reasoning, right? Because that would put you in the top 1% of the country. And 99% of Americans are not in that group. Okay. I can't get it. I wish I could use my calculator. Okay, so you got to tell me, provide. Don't just blow hot smoke. But what's your reasoning, right? What's your reasoning as to how you get the numbers? So let's do the 1%. Okay, we have about 325 million people in the United States. About 325 million people in the United States, and we know that 1% of these folks have a net worth of 10 million or more. Okay, so we'll multiply it by 0.01, and that means that out of the 325 million people, about 3 million people have a net worth of 10 million or more. 3,250,000. Okay, so that means that there are like 322 million people who don't have that much money. Okay, 3 million do, 322 million don't. Okay, so what's your explanation, right? Like, what's your reasoning as to why you're going to get into the 1%, right? Because clearly, if there's 3 million people who are in the 1%, and the 322 million Americans who are not in the 1%, that means this is not easy to do. Okay, it's not likely to happen, right? But if you tell me you're going to do it, you need to tell me why. What's your reason, right? The other thing here would be that probably when you're in your 30s, like 30 to 40, you should have a net worth of about 100,000. Okay, that I think we can reasonably argue that sometime between age 30 and 40, you will probably have a net worth of about 100,000. That is realistic. Okay, but beyond that, right? Beyond 100,000, or after age 40, let's say, what are your numbers going to look like? Right? That. Okay, and because that'll tell you what is a likely outcome. In other words, if you're an American citizen or green card holder, and you're between 30 and 40, and you don't have a net worth of 100,000, that tells me that you're probably not going to get into the 1%. or the 5% or the 10%, because you're running behind. You're already behind. You're already behind the average. And so if you're already behind the average, it's not likely that that your performance is going to be outstanding. Your performance is probably going to be below average, right? So you're probably not going to make the 1% to the 5%, the 10% of the country. Probably not. Okay. I mean, it could happen, but probably not. Okay. On the other hand, if you're 30 to 40, you have more than $100,000, right, net worth, then I would say this person has a potential to be in the top 10%, to be in the top 5%, maybe to be in the top 1% of the country. We have real estate agents who we work with, and we've worked with him for many years. He's a fairly young guy. He's 36, so he's like right in the middle. He's probably that's probably the median age for Americans. 32, 35 is the median. So he's about the median age for the United States, and he has a net worth of $3 million. Okay, so in his case, if you ask me, do you think, his name is Ben, you tell me, do you think Ben is going to be in the top 10%? I would say, yeah. He's already he's already in the top 10%. Okay, do you think Ben is going to be in the top 5%? He's already in the top 5%. He's only 36. Then the next question is, do you think he'll be in the 1%? I don't know. I don't know if he'll make it to the 1% of having $10 million. It's possible. It's possible. Okay. But, you know, with a net worth of $3 million, you're already in the top 5% of the country at age 36, right? So you need to kind of, you know, figure out the numbers, figure out the data, the numbers, and try to be realistic of what is likely to be the outcome. Because if you're performing below par, then you have to adjust. You have to adjust to rev up your engine so you can hit your goals. And if you're performing about average, then you know, well, I'm probably going to be an average person, like most people, right? 2/3 of people are average. You're going to be an average person. If you're performing an average level at your age, chances are you're going to be an average person. Okay, but if you're performing above average, right, for your age group, then there's a good chance your results are going to be very good. This applies to your friends, family and friends. Okay, so what this means is that if you find people who are performing above average, you need to stick to those people, right? Talk to them, consult with them, seek their advice, seek their support, seek their help to see if they can help you to improve your performance, right? If you hang out with people who are losers, you know, they cannot help you. They cannot help you. People who are not performing well, they can. I mean, they might have a lot of wisdom because they had so many hard knocks. They've had so many bad experiences. They've learned a lot about life, but they cannot really help you. Probably not. If you hang out with other average people, then you're probably going to be an average person, right? But if you seek the advice of very successful people who have outstanding results, then those people have the ability to give you the advice and the suggestions and recommendations so that your performance improves and you become an outstanding person. That's kind of the way it works. Okay. Okay. Let's stop there.